Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu will soon head off to Washington to meet with U.S. President Barack Obama. Topping the agenda will be discussions about how to stop Iran from developing nuclear weapons. Israeli and American officials publicly say they're working very closely on the issue, but leaked reports here in Israel suggest that distrust and tension are growing between the allies. The dispute centers on whether threatening to use or using military action against Iran is needed. Political sources here in Jerusalem say that Prime Minister Netanyahu will try to persuade President Obama to make bolder statements in favor of U.S. action in Iran if sanctions fail. Take a listen to what one expert on Israeli-Iranian relations had to say.
Judging by the statements made, I think the Israeli government is very enthusiastic about the use of the military force as a last resort, whereas the Americans are not. And the Israeli government wants the American government, I believe, to look more serious about the military threat. Whereby President Obama wants to give economic sanctions more time. So I think these are going to be the main areas of difference. We probably won't hear about them. It's probably going to be more behind closed doors.
President Obama has come under criticism in Israel for getting tough on Tehran too late. Many Israeli officials and analysts are skeptical that the new sanctions on Iran's oil industry and central bank can really make a difference. And statements by top U.S. military officials against an Israeli military strike have also been seen as strategic errors that take pressure off Iran. Israeli leaders believe that the threat of a military attack by Israel, by the U.S., or both may scare Iran enough to stop its nuclear program. But even the effectiveness of an Israeli strike is still up for debate.
Israeli military attack would not be an existential danger to the regime. What President Obama is doing, the sanctions, they are an existential danger to the regime. And I think the government of Israel, which has to protect the rights of Israeli citizens, has to look at what President Obama is doing with a more open mind.
Prime Minister Netanyahu and President Obama are likely to present a united front against Iran following their White House meeting. Both will undoubtedly stress the danger that a nuclear Iran poses not just to the Middle East but to the world at large. But the issue of a military strike will likely not be resolved and hang over the allies in the months ahead. Israeli leaders have said that they will keep the military option of a strike on the table, and they've refused to promise to tell the Americans about it beforehand. Jordana Miller, JN1, Jerusalem.